Hey guys, how are you doing? I want to talk about the pentatonic scale here again. Some topics come up over and over again. For instance, when I'm sitting with students and I start to write out a circle of fifths one more time, they'll often remind me, hey, I've got this in my book already, or you've drawn that a few times. And I'll agree, yes, of course, but we're going to do it again. We want to see how it's done, talk our way through it, and see new ramifications that come with it each time. The same thing with the pentatonic scale. So many times people will ask me, how does this work again? What's the difference between the major and the minor? Where do we use them? What does it mean that there are 5 different positions? And can I just move this from one key to another? So every now and then we want to have another look at it and explain it in another way. Today I want to go through the major and the minor and look at a few of my favorite concepts with them, as well as talking about how they're built in the first place. Somewhere on your guitar, I've located here the pentatonic minor scale. This is your classic. It's the scale that's going to be most familiar to your hands, most likely, used mostly in rock and blues soloing. It's used as your basis for soloing in both major and minor blues. The pentatonic minor scale has the root, the flatted third, the fourth, the fifth, the flatted 7, and a root again. There's 5 notes. 1, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 7. Here they start again. 1, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 7, 1, and flat 3. The flat 3 is up here again just because it's within reach. You'll want to memorize this scale, memorize where the roots are. Wherever this note goes, that's going to be the key you're playing in if you're playing a minor pentatonic. This right now appears to be at the 7th fret, so this would be a B minor, but we can move this to the 5th fret and it's an A minor, to the 3rd fret and it's a G minor. This scale is used in any minor song, obviously. If we're playing a B minor pentatonic scale in the key of B minor, it will fit perfectly. It'll also fit perfectly in B blues. The odd thing is it'll fit in a B minor blues or a B major blues. If you have the chords B, E, and F sharp, then this scale will fit over it as a minor blues scale, played even if those chords are major. That's just the idiom of blues that will allow you to do that. That also transfers into rock. Pentatonic scales have existed throughout time whenever people have done music and wherever they've done it. They exist in every culture. Old flute-type instruments, tens of thousands of years old, are found that play pentatonic scales. Logically, this minor pentatonic scale is derived from a major scale. Some sources say that it didn't come later chronologically, but it certainly does come later logically. Now here I've drawn the pentatonic major scale. Again, I've located it someplace in space here. I've probably got it actually at the 10th fret, where this would be a D note. So then we'd say this is a D, this other circled note's a D, and there's another D, and this would be a D major pentatonic. But my concern isn't where it is right now, because this too will move around. If I move that note to the 3rd fret and play it, I'd be playing in G major. If I went to the 5th fret, I'd be playing in A major, because G is at the 3rd fret of the 6th string, and A is at the 5th fret of the 6th string. And what we have here then is a root, a 2nd, a 3rd. Notice there's no 4th, a 5th, a 6th, no 7th at all, and the root. Then the 2nd, 3rd, 5th, 6th, and root again, and the 2nd again. The way these are devised is based upon the harmonic sequence of notes. If you played a single note, say in this case it is a D, the next most consonant note that's generated by the harmonic overtone series is an A. So you'd get a D and an A. If you play an A, the next note that would be generated in the harmonic series is the E, the 5th of A. B is the 5th of E, and this F sharp is the 5th of B. So generated in the scale, generated by a D note, and the other most consonant notes played, we're actually going to get this pentatonic scale built, based upon fifths. Our diatonic scale is built that way as well. The F sharp would generate a C sharp, and although the C sharp would give us a G sharp, conflicting with the scale, we find that you could put a G here below the D, which generates a D as the 5th. So the 4th of the scale becomes a G that's underneath the scale in terms of the harmonic series. These two notes though, C sharps and Gs, the 4 and the 7, are first of all not generated cleanly by the overtone series. You get kind of fudgy C sharps. You get something between C and C sharp early on, and you get something between G and G sharp early on as well in the series. Both of those notes are a little ambiguous in the harmonic series. They're also going to be dissonant against a D chord. They're dissonant against the D itself, so it turns out they're removed from a pentatonic scale. If you looked at the series of steps that make a scale, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half, that would be D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, and D. As you know, that's a normal major scale. And the pentatonic, you see, doesn't have a G, nor does it have a C sharp. So what's happened is they've eliminated these two half steps. The half step between notes is what causes dissonance. So the pentatonic major scale is derived from the harmonic overtone series, giving you this sequence of 5 notes. There's no 4 and no 7. So there's a 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6. You notice these notes, B, D, E, F sharp, and A, if I start on the B note here, will give us a B minor. So at least logically, the B minor pentatonic is derived from the logically prior D major pentatonic. You get the same notes, but they have a minor relationship to the B, a major relationship to the D. So if I'm playing a song and I need a major pentatonic, I will put this shape on it and move this around. If I'm in G major, I'd put it on G. How do you know if you're in G major? One of the ways is to look at your chords. If I have G, C, and D, major chords, then likely I'm playing in G major. If I started with a G minor and had a C minor or something like that, then I'd say, well, I'm probably in G minor. Therefore, I'd use this scale and put it on the G note. But seeing G, C, and D doesn't tell me for sure if I want that scale or this scale, because a blues song or a rock song could use major chords and bring the minor scale on there. So here's a G note, and I could play a G major pentatonic. I could bring this scale over here and put it here. If it had a country or pop or any kind of major sound, I could put that scale on here and play over G, C, and D. Or if it had a rock blues sound, I could bring this scale here and put it over the G. I could play those notes, which would correspond more to G minor, but I can play them over a G major progression. That's one way to navigate those scales. There's another thing that happens here that is very enjoyable to me. What I just mentioned is that these notes in the key of D major pentatonic are the same notes as these in B minor pentatonic. We have B, D, E, F sharp, A. Here we have D, E, F sharp, A, B. D, E, F sharp, A, B. So the exact same notes. Therefore, this scale shape could be used if I'm playing in the key of D major. This scale shape could be used if I'm playing in B minor. The two operate together because they have the exact same notes. So not only do I have the option of moving this scale wherever I wanted along the neck to find a major key, I could actually use this fingering if I like. Since this is the D note, same as here, and it has all the same notes as this, I could move this scale until my pinky note lands on the key that I want to play in. If I want to play in A major, I can take this scale, take that note, move the entire scale to A, and play it here at A and say I'm in A major. However, I could also take this one and move it back until this pinky note lands on A and play from there and call it A major as well. It would have the same notes. These two scales are actually just extensions of each other. This one happens to be called D major or major pentatonic, whatever key I'm in, because the relationship from this first note would be the major scale. This one's called minor because the relationship of the notes to this first note create a minor. But the relationship of the scale to this note create major because these are the same as these. That means these two scales are interchangeable, or they're actually just extensions of one another. Let's put that into practice a little bit in looking at the scale. Very often when I have people learning to solo, I'll try to limit them to a few strings. Play this note a lot. Add that one. Play the two notes. Maybe add this. Maybe add 4 notes now and play around in this box. People feel oddly limited when I ask them to do that, but if I had said, oh, let's solo, just play any note on the entire fretboard that you like, they'd be scared. They'd say, well, I don't know which ones to use. Then you give them a scale then and say, these are the notes you use. And right away they start just racing up and down and playing them all. But you're not making any more music that way than you are if I just set you loose on the whole neck. So just try a few notes at first. Play around here for a bit. When you feel like you're getting bored, you're making music on those, but you want more choices, lower yourself to this string. So you've got 6 notes to play now. Go up and down and try to listen to melodies. After a person gets really good with this, I'll say, hey, why not just slide out here and add another note? This one's really pretty. It's really bright and leaps up onto the scale beautifully. If they start mastering that note, I'll say, hey, let's do the same thing from here. Slide up 2 frets. I'll call that my 2 fret rule. When you're playing on that string, just slide up 2 frets and try hanging out on that note for a while. Then slide back. After you're good at it, try it on the next string. Slide up 2 frets and come back. Once you're hanging out there, play all 4 of those notes. Stay up there for a while. We can slide out 2 frets from here. As we do, we create this little home plate shape. I call it my pyramid. So we'll play in the pentatonic minor for a while, start adding those 2 frets on one string, then the other, then hanging out there and noodling around in that pyramid. And once they've done that, I might say, well, you know what? Let's move this note here, and move this note here, move this one here, and we've got a complete extra position added on now. So this B minor scale has just been pushed over here. These are still the same notes. This note is that one. This is that one. We've just transferred it to another string. But lo and behold, you see I've created this shape. So in B minor, I could say I'm playing minor pentatonic, and now I have the second position. Position or shape 1, position or shape 2. But shape 2 is also identical to the major scale. So I can play this major and call it B minor because it's position 2 of B minor. I can play this minor scale and say it's part of this major because they are interchangeable and extensions of one another. So there you would have 2 versions of your pentatonic scale. They're the same notes that you can move around. Once again, I must reiterate because people will ask all the time, oh, well, what if I want to play in G minor pentatonic? Can I move this? Yes, you can, like we said. If you have this minor pentatonic scale, you could fire it down here to G. Play all of those fingerings, but here at G. Call it a G pentatonic minor. And then they'll ask, well, what about this? Yes, bring that too, because this is actually one unit. It's one thing. And then they'll say, well, what about the major? And indeed, yes, it works for the major as well. This note defines the major. So I can drag that pinky note down to the A. And I could play all of this where the pinky's on A. This note would be back here at the 2nd fret. So those 2 work together, move around the neck, give you all your key positions. I want to move this a little bit further yet. If people are good at this 2 fret rule, as I call it, I can say, hey, why not mirror that? You can slip back here if you'd like. If you're on this B, this A note can be located here. So I can go 2 frets back. This E note would happen to be here. So I can go up 2 frets on my scale, or I can go back 2 frets. You've guessed it. If I do that, I can start to create another scale position. This B note here would be located here. This F sharp is here. The D here. If I've got a B and I can go back 2 frets to get an A, which I did here, I can do it here too. And this A note then becomes part of the B minor scale. All of the notes have been moved into a shape a little bit lower. So this would be then position number 5. We have position number 1 in minor, which can be applied to minor songs in B minor or major songs in B if they're bluesy or rock blues. So I've got position 1 and position 5, and here's position 2. 2 is identical to the major, but therefore, if these are all the same, these are also transferable into my major key. If I'm playing in D major, I can slip back and do B minor, and it's the exact same notes. I can slip back and add position 5. This is working whether I'm calling this a D major scale or a B minor scale. If I sound ridiculously redundant, That's because I am. I want to make sure I say it over and over and you get the idea. So why is that the fifth scale? Well, pentatonic has 5 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. The fifth note is A. So if I start on A, I must be doing my 5th position. 1, 2. The second note is D. So if I start on D, I must be doing 2nd position. The astute among you are going, well, what's that mean? There must be a 3rd and a 4th position. And indeed there are. So why not add a 3rd here? So once again, this note, the F sharp, can be found right here. D, E, F sharp, or D, E, F sharp. The B goes here. This E is found here. So here's our D, E, F sharp, A, B. I'll circle the B since we're in B minor at the moment. So we got B, D, E, F sharp, A. Here's the B again. B, D, E, and F sharp. So now we have this position. This note is added, and there's position number 3. And yes, that is added on to the major as well. Clearly it is. It's the same scale. I can build out and do number 4 over there if I like, and why not? I've got just enough room. So from the F sharp I can go to A, from the B to a D, from an E to an F sharp, from an A to a B, there's my B again. Here's D to E, to F sharp, to A. So there's position 4. So we've got 2 frets between these notes. That's a minor 3rd. 2 frets from the B to the D, just like here at the beginning. A minor 3rd, whole step, shift, and another whole step, and that's number 4. These notes being moved to a lower string further up. I also could have put number 4 back here. Obviously number 4 comes before number 5. So the same shape here. Here's F sharp to A, B to D, E to F sharp, A to B. Since we're in B, I'll circle it again. D to E, F sharp to A to B. So if I'm in B minor, I can slip back into number 5, or I can slip back into number 4. I can locate this idea, B to D, E to F sharp, A to B, and I can put it on this B. B to D, E to F sharp, A to B. And yes, once again, all of those can come down here, and I can call this D. Or I can just call this D major. This is all D major pentatonic right now, with this located at the 7th fret and D at the 10th, or it's all B minor pentatonic with the B at the 7th. The 2 scales I'm trying to re-emphasize over and over and over are totally movable, and they are the same. So there's your 5 positions. Do not draw this and then think you're going to play from it. Just build it the way we did. Learn this scale really well first. Call it B minor or D major. Play it over B minor songs or D major songs. Play it over B blues or B rock. Then add the 2 frets. When you're soloing, slide out here and try those 2 frets. Then those. Then build the pyramid. Then flesh it out and get this whole major pentatonic, or call it position 2 of this. Then slide back 2 frets here. Do it on this string. Do 2 frets and 2 frets, back into pentatonic minor, 2 frets and 2 frets here. Fill out this position. Start running from these notes into these and up to those. That's a really nice lick as well. Once you're moving around clearly through those 3 positions, fill them out and practice all 3. Practice them in the major and the minor. Then you can add a 3rd and a 4th position. Don't memorize them all just blasting up the scale, because you won't be musical doing that. So as repetitive as I was, you probably still are confused by this if you've not experienced and studied it before. That's okay. Stop the video, look at it, try to memorize one thing, play the pentatonic minor, play the pentatonic major, compare the 2. Come back and listen to what I was saying about using the one or the other in each key. Try to understand what it meant to move them from key to key, and then slowly but surely build this up. We'll talk about it again in a very similar way over and over again, but just use the video over and over again as well. Anyway, guys, that would be it for now. Have a good one. See you later.